Welcome to 5 Steps to Empowering Your Personality and Finding Your Purpose. My name's Alison DeMarco. I'm an author, a speaker, a life coach, personality assessor and visionary. I created Own Your Own power cards and colour therapy courses, face and temperament reading courses, because all of these allow us to see our true personality, our true identity, our persona, the one we were born as and with, that contains all the information of our life. Scientists have found out that at the moment of conception, there is a spark of light, and we know that light contains information, frequency, vibration, colour, sound, energy, and matter. We are light. We have an electromagnetic field that surrounds the body. We are energy. And if we think of that spark of light at birth, then we can say that all information is contained within that spark of light at conception. And it's that, the personality, the persona, the real true persona, that lies there waiting on us to find it, to recognize it, to become one with it. Because as we grow up and we move forward, external influences, beliefs, and the way other people behave towards us does influence us. So everything external in our world, our environment, and those people that are in it will pass on the behaviours, the beliefs, and even down to the point of how they have been brought up will be passed on to us. And so Own Your Power Cards, a reading, is very much about stripping away all the layers that we have gained over the years from birth and finding the true persona. Because many people say in life, I want to change my life. But when we say that, we have to then almost chunk it down. When we say we want to change our life, what is it that we want to change? And how can we sustain that change if we're changing the same personality that we have been with all the beliefs and all the conditioning? How can we change and make the changes and sustain the changes if we haven't ironed out, or we haven't peeled away the layers to find our true identity and our true purpose in life? Because once we find who we are, once we find out how we are, we can find out where we're going, our purpose, and we can become one with ourselves, at peace with ourselves. This is what happened to me, and as we go through, I will tell you the story, a part of my story. But I know that I didn't give up. From all the hardships I had, I didn't give up. And actually, incredibly, many miracles happened to me, and I ended up being on TV, radio, in national newspapers and magazines. And I wrote, at the moment, 2 published books. One, The Signature from Tibet, which was published by Mainstream in Edinburgh, and the other, The Signature from Tibet, both each having remarkable journeys that I believe are miracles. And so what we're going to do in this short presentation is to look at the things that we've learned from our past. So there's an element of self-realization, self-actualization and self-liberation. We have to ask ourselves what beliefs are true and which are false. What has inspired me over the years and what has healed me and helped me to become the person I truly was born to be and live the life that I was truly born to live really revolves around light and colour and the language of colour. There is nothing surer than that there is a language of colour. Now, in many incidents we say, in the beginning there was lights. Many quotes say that. And so I'm coming back to light. Within light, the frequency, the vibration, the energy, sound, and of course matter and information. And I believe that when we look at the light within us, and we look at its language, a common language, which is colour, which is a hardwired program within us all, then we can begin to unravel and we can begin to move forward and look at to live the life that we truly want to live. And we can find our peace, we can find happiness, and we can find joy. So 5 steps to empowering your personality. So when we empower our personality, we know our personality. We're awake in the moment and we become one with ourselves in the moment. And we see things for what they are in the moment. We're not living in the past, we're not living in the future, but we're very present and aware of everything that is going on within us and around us. And when we do that, we begin to create a sense of flow. And we tune into the light and we can highlight our persona. We can highlight our strengths and our weaknesses, our moods, our reactions, and our energy. Because everything in life is energy. We have the aura, the electromagnetic field, made up of frequencies, vibrations, and of course, colour. And we resonate with these colours. So you may walk into a room and say, I don't get a good vibe. You're already transcoding the frequencies in that room, the energy there, by saying vibe. That means vibration. And we can influence our persona. We can create new and exciting visions of our future. We can become awesomely brilliant. And when you get the insider tips that I will give you, you will gain a deeper understanding of your lightness and its impact on your mind, body, and soul. And when you begin to raise your spiritual energy, you can see how light is not only all around us, but inside of us. And you can feel the benefits of experiencing light's energy as you raise your own vibration. And peace of mind is so important to understand how to remain one with the energy of light so you can continue to reach the highest consciousness leading to peace of mind. And once you access these tips to help you understand and troubleshoot how your thinking creates the personality and your present reality and how you can create infinite possibilities for your future destiny, you become to understand that you have everything that you need to lead a successful, happy, peaceful life. So once we uncover our true persona, we can then, of course, reach breakthroughs and lead the colourful life. And when we're empowering our personality, we're wanting to live with peace, joy and happiness in the present moment. And you can become one of the hundreds of people who have tuned into the power of light and colour and learned how to unite with the higher consciousness. So if you ignite your will and you find your purpose, you can move from your past and you can achieve peace, happiness and success. And you can also unlock the door and lead a life through this colourful mind. And you can understand how you can experience joy and happiness. By tuning into the colours of light, you can highlight the blind spots within your persona and you can access knowledge to change your thinking right now, activate the vision of your future. Because again, it's all about choices, about you making a constructive choice to make the change. But quite often that's very hard because the personality you're trying to change is the one that is full of the set of beliefs, patterns and conditions that have been holding you back. So it's really important, firstly, to find out who and what your persona is. And we can do that through on your own power cards, through a consultation or reading with them. Because colour is a language and it will highlight so many different aspects of a person's life and the most important aspects that they're wanting to look at the present time that they're having this reading. The other thing I obviously work with is face reading, and that's another subject, but we'll get on to that, because when we say the eyes are the window to the soul, and we also look at the face, it's all in the face, it's very true that Many of the elements of nature, earth, air, fire, water, are seen in the face, and from that we can gain a huge amount of information on a person's behaviour, actions, reactions, etc. I was very lucky because many years ago now, over 30, I had a nervous breakdown, and it was in that time that I became back in tune with my spirituality. That's another story. And again, I was very lucky. Through a chain of miracles, I ended up writing the book Dark Storm Golden Journey, which defines the pathway that I took into finding the real me, my real persona, becoming in tune with that, finding my peace, my joy and happiness, and loving my life. And from then on, once I began on my path, I found colour, the language of colour, and went on to train in the language of colour. And one night when an artist friend had left their paints and easels in my lounge, I just asked them if I could use them and paint. And at that point in time, my Irish setter had been written off by the vet. She was very young, just a puppy, and the vet said I had damaged her leg muscles because I'd over-exercised her. And the best thing I could do is get an insurance policy. We had done every x-ray possible to find out why Aurora, my Irish setter pup, was lame when she walked. And through all the tests that we did, nothing became apparent as to why she was so lame. So this night I sat with the paints and sploshed a bit of colour here and there, and it reminded me of being at school when I was told I was far too, my artwork was far too messy and I needed to review and buck up my ideas. And so in front of you now is the painting I painted that night. And as I went to put the painting into the fire, because I had a coal fire at the time, I was so annoyed at the mess I had drawn. It was the artist friend who said, "Stop and look at what you've drawn." And he said, "You've drawn Aurora." Now, Aurora at that time was lying curled in a ball at my feet, and I have put in there the head, that's the crown of the head, and then the eye, the little slit there, and then the nose. So hopefully some of you will see, if not all of you will see, the head of Aurora. And if we're moving along to the back, where I put back, she's curled in a ball, and there is a big pink splash coming out from the green. Well, that is the energy coming from her back. So that is the gap in the energy field. When we see something like this, a gap in the energy field and energy flying out, we have to make an assumption that that is a possibility of where trauma is, or there is an issue. And in this case, I've realised it's not her legs, it's her back. So I called up a friend, John McManaway, who was a dowser and who had a special form of manipulation. And I said I would like him to have a look at Aurora to see if he could help her. But I gave him no information. On the other end of the phone at that time, he was dowsing to see if he could help Aurora. And he said, yes, bring her up. So I took Aurora to meet with him. Again, still telling him nothing. And he dowsed for Aurora. And exactly at the location of that pink splash coming out on her back, he found a trapped nerve. And with his special form of manipulation, she never looked back. She was not ever lame again. So that was an amazing journey for me, and the realization that we didn't necessarily need to see the aura. And it led me from here into helping many animals, including horses, dogs and cats. And not long after that, I self-diagnosed myself with breast cancer. And from that, I ended up being treated by and working eventually with Dr. Muriel Mackay, who was a naturopath, a homeopath, a doctor of medicine, etc. And she had done almost everything. And she was very much taken by Harry Oldfield, who used Kirlian photography. He had an Aura camera, but an Aura video camera, and incredible. And he was a scientist. And so I met with him, and he told me that he knew nothing about me. He told me I had breast cancer, where it was, and what treatment would be best for me to take from the medical profession, which I'd already made up my mind to do. And so that was incredible. And my friend Dr. Muriel Mackay wanted me to train with him, and I ended up training in electrocrystal therapy and using this type of equipment. And we can see now the man here in the picture, and again we can see the energy, the red energy coming from his head. Now that was the exact location medically of a brain tumour, and from that he received treatment from Harry. He went from Edinburgh down to London and received treatment from Harry. For a period of time the tumour shrunk, and he unfortunately decided that he was not going to come back and continue the treatment he was getting from me. So my next journey, the next miracles, was I met philosophers who were in their 60s, and they were artists, and they had studied philosophy, human nature, for more or less all of their lives, and they came up with this incredible face reading system. At first when I met them, I just really didn't understand any of it. It just seemed a bit bizarre, a bit crazy. But it was a wonderful experience. But when it hit home was when I met a man who had used the system for all his life, and he was in his 70s. He had been part of creating the system. And when I walked across the room, all of a minute at the most, 30 seconds, probably even, I sat down beside him, was introduced to him, and he told me my life story, who I was, my personality, my behaviour. And I was so impressed. I asked him to come to Scotland and to do training courses on face reading and temperament reading, which he did. And I now run courses in this face reading system, because this face reading system, they were artists, and they had so many people come to visit them, and they painted them. And then what they did was they provoked them to get reactions, and they put all their findings and matched them to faces that they had painted. And so in over many years, 12 archetypes were born. And it's these archetypes, the facial archetypes, that I use, but I've also applied the temperament, the behaviour, and these work with the elements earth, air, fire, water. Fascinating system. And it means that you can read someone almost within meeting them. You know who you're talking to, and you know how they want to be heard or listened to, and you also know what communication mode, and you also know in relationships who you would be attracted to, and what elements are not going to work in that relationship, or what elements will work in that relationship. So very interesting subject, and I am doing workshops in it in Edinburgh. My next miracle went on, and I met with Dr. Akon Tuku Rinpoche, founder of Sami Ling, and through a meeting with him, he offered to be my overseer, and he granted me a Dharma centre, spiritual centre. And all these miracles I'm telling you about is for a reason, because when you begin to trust the process, and when you begin to work with your energy and the energy of the universe, and just allow everything to happen, and almost take your foot off the accelerator and allow things, allow the process to trust the process, miracles do happen, and it's so much easier. In between, I went to Cyprus, and I met another man, was going to get married again, but I woke up and realised, wait a minute, this is just not happening for me, and I came back home. And on coming back home, I then reunited with Dr. Akon Tuku Rinpoche, to then I found out my uncle had a very rare signature from His Holiness the 16th Kamapa, who had visited Edinburgh in 1974. I had toothache, had visited my uncle who was a dentist, and at that time he left a signed tour programme with a message to my uncle, which Akon Rinpoche declared to be a rare relic to the Buddhist Sangha, to the Buddhist community. And from that signature, which I took and showed obviously to Dr. Akon Tulku Rinpoche, he suggested I took it to His Holiness the 17th Kamapa in India, which I did, and we got through armed guards, got to an appointment with him, got to see him almost right away, and he said, put it in a book for the world to see, and that is now the signature from Tibet. And when I was down at Samiling with the book, and the book was in the bookshop, it was shown to this monk who had escaped from Tibet many, many, many years ago when he was very young and had lived his life at Samiling. And when he saw the picture of His Holiness's 16th Kamapa inside the signature from Tibet, he put it on his head as a mark of respect. He's an absolutely wonderful man, lovely monk, and it was just such a joy and wonder for this to happen and to have such an honour. And so, yes, my life's been difficult, but gosh, it's been amazing. I've come to terms with my past. It was a period of time, it was soul destroying. Yes, I was depressed, and I did have breast cancer, and I had a lot of challenges, but through them, I did find the key, and I began to know the process, and I began to live in the present, and I began to trust the process. And most of this is just based on the more you know colour, and the more you know energy, the more you know frequency, the more you just allow the energy around you to come to you. And yes, we do have to do work, but at the same time, miracles happen. Sometimes we just need a rest. Sometimes we need to work. Sometimes we need to write. But it's about trusting the process. And often in meditation, just to be sitting quietly, just quietly, even for 5-10 minutes, great peace and relaxation can happen. And when that happens, and that chatterbox then relaxes, you can allow other energy, new energy, to come through. So the knowledge of our personality is derived in part through self-awareness. And self-realization is waking up and looking for something else, or finding something missing, discovering the answer by moving us from our limited view of the self to an unlimited view of ourself. And the self-actualization is taking your new self and expressing it and making it concrete in the world with experiences and results in you, which leads, of course, to success and happiness and inner peace, of course. Self-liberation is being able to decide and act with your gut, heart, soul and mind in unison, freedom from emotional blockages, fear, overthinking or worry. So we come to the true or false. Do you become inspired when you're listening to others? Then when alone, the momentum of change wears off. And it does happen. You get all fired up and then suddenly, slowly, or sometimes quite quickly, the change just goes and you revert back to the old ways. Do you find it difficult to remain positively charged? Do you feel something is missing in your life? Do you suffer from feeling blue? Do you have difficulty with your energy? Are you at a crossroads in your life? Now, I just put this in here. It's just a little test almost for you to look at for what colour would you be if you could describe yourself only through the language of colour. It's fun. This is a very minor part of what colour is, but then again, it can actually define quite a lot of different traits, behaviours, mannerisms, and personality. So just take a moment and think about yourself and choose one colour. Now, you don't need to choose them from my set of colours. You just choose a colour that you feel would describe yourself. That's not a colour that you would wear necessarily or have in your home. It's a colour. Just think about you, about your personality, about you, and choose a colour. And do feel free to put your answers in the chat box, and we'll try, or I will try, to get back to you and give you a short explanation of your colour choice. So I've talked a lot about light. So what is light and colour? Why is it a common language? In the beginning there was light. So just think in life now, and you can just think, we need light. Life is not as it is if there is no light. We need light. We need vitamin D. We need light to grow things. But if we actually look a bit deeper, light contains information, frequency, vibration, colour, sound, energy and matter. And we've got the sayings, of colour, red with rage, feeling blue, in the pink. And we use light, we use energy through X-ray, medical and telecommunications, microwaves, radio, TV, and so much more. Just start thinking, where is it? We might know it as, for example, a microwave, but that's microwaves, energy, frequency. We have a human energy field, the electromagnetic field. We have sleep patterns that are to do with energy. We have thoughts that are energy. We have physical inner and outer health based on energy. We have the chakra system even. We have all the different meridians and our electromagnetic field, the aura. So we are energy and we resonate to energy. Quite often people switch a light on and then the light bulb bursts. So we also, everything in life is made up of energy, frequency, colour, vibration. So, and on your power card reading is, if you've asked the questions, who am I? What am I doing here? What is my life purpose? Or you want to know more about your true persona, the one you were born as, or you're suffering from the negative chatterbox and runaway thoughts. That's quite a hard one because your chatterbox just tends to go on and on and on, and it often and most often is negative. If you want to be healthy, it'll say, why bother? If you want to go out a walk, why bother? It's going to rain. Things like that. So it's really important that there's tools to shut that chatterbox up. Or you're searching for something, but you don't know what. You feel lost, alone and sad. You feel like a square peg in a round hole. You are wanting to recognise the beliefs, patterns and conditions that keep you locked into the past. You're suffering from relationship issues. You're unable to sustain the changes you make. You have difficulty in getting your point across to others. And that happens a lot when we're in communication with others. Maybe we're trying to give somebody an explanation of why we think the way we do, and then it escalates, and then we can't remember what the original issue was. But there are communication tools that can help, and by identifying a person's personality, we know how to get that message across to them without having any argument. And that's the main thing. You're looking for spiritual guidance and the link to those who have passed over. You want to establish your life purpose. You are looking to harness the power of your will to implement change. So if you've answered any of those above and you feel it's now time to open your awareness and implement change, then do get in touch. So 5 steps to empowering your personality. We can wake up, know who you are and what you want. Identify past emotional patterns, create a new persona and manage your thinking, self-observation, self-awareness, self-realization, and activate your thinking to live in the moment as if you're already living the life you want. And that's really important. But to know the life that you really want to live, you have to really know yourself. And this is what I find and did find for me, and obviously I've given hundreds of readings over the years. Once people know who they are, identify who they are, and identify the things that are holding them back, they can truly move on. They can create a new personality based on the true personality, the one that they were born with. Not just invent another personality for the sake of it, but just become the personality that that they were born to be. So empowering your personality, think about what life would be like if you empowered your personality in life. Think about what is stopping you from empowering your personality in life. Think about living your life with a positive, hardwired program that enables you to naturally sustain each and every moment. So you can write down your life purpose. You can ask yourself if your thinking is controlling your body. And you can ask yourself if you live in a state of high anxiety. All these things work together to find out. And there's so many questions that we can ask about who we truly are, what we want, and how we're going to achieve it. And it's the how that's really important. And that's why I'm here if you want to claim your free 10-minute chat. And there are many people who have offered their testimonials to me. I've put a couple in here if you just want to take a couple of minutes to read them. But for me, it's very much about colour is a hardwired program that actually it's almost like when you're driving, say for example, you're going along the road, you witness a car accident and then you stop and the police say to you, can you remember the car registration number that drove off? Let's say it was a hit and run. And you say no. But then you go to a hypnotist and then you miraculously, through hypnotism, know the car number. So everything, all data in life is taken in and we store it. But we don't, we go through it and we sieve it into different compartments. And the data we don't need, it just gets filed. But we can retrieve that data. And that's what's important. And through the language of colour, through your colour choices, you will retrieve data that is maybe buried deep or that you just haven't thought about, or the way that colour can take you to find your true purpose, your real purpose in life, and the real persona and personality. So if I can do this, anyone can do this, including you. And it's been a remarkable journey for me. And I can tell you right now, through that journey, I'm living a phenomenal life. I'm living the life I want, not dictated to by anyone or anything. And I just feel so in touch with nature and in harmony with the universe. And it's remarkable and it's wonderful. We all share the same biology and we all have the same opportunities to change our thinking. And you have the same opportunity as I did for transformation. So I will be announcing another webinar, and I'll be doing that through the usual social media channels. These are the Own Your Power Card consultation. And I just want you to know that there is a universal language of colour, and it does open up new opportunities. And I have achieved so much in my life, really all down to the very initial wake up and my finding of the colour language. And I didn't give up. So Own Your Power Card reading is available online and in person, and I also do training. I do face reading training and colour language training. And I am going to be doing a face reading workshop very soon, and on the 15th of September, and that's the details in front of you. And it's addressing the issues: who am I, where am I going, and what is my purpose in life? And it's to obtain and sustain peace, joy, happiness and success. And if this is for you, please do get in touch, or if you just want to chat for 10 minutes and see if what I do is of interest to you, please do get in touch. I look forward to hearing from you. All the best.